Okay, welcome everybody to a very special bonus episode of the Horrible Horror Podcast, the podcast where we watch the worst and the worst in horror movies. Movies so bad they're scary. I'm your host, Marshall Hampton. This is my co-host, best friend, Mr. Aaron Southworth. Today for you, this is obviously will be audio and video, but with us is a very special guest, Mr. David Valdez, one of the writers and directors for Klown Kamp Masacre, a movie we did here on the show just a few weeks ago. We had a blast with it, and he was so kind to sit down and take a little bit of time off his day to speak with us about the movie and what went into making it and the whole process. So this should be really fun.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, kind of glad it's got legs. I mean, it's been a long time since we made the film, so.
Yeah, it's a few years old now. It was what, 2010? Was it?
Yeah. But we actually principal photography was like in '06.
Okay.
And it took maybe like 2 years to post it. So it was done in '08, and then we got a distribution deal with Trauma, and then that took us a year to get our distribution deal. It took another year before people saw it. So it was like 2010 before. So it says 2010, but like we were done with it we were shooting it in '06.
Okay, that might answer one of my questions, because when I was doing my research for it, and one of the segments we do 5-star reviews, and I came across a 5-star review from a fan who said he had been following the production of this movie for 4 years. And I was like, couldn't believe that would possibly be 4 years, but I guess the way you just explained it makes sense that it would be, I guess, 4 years when you started and then when it got released with Trauma.
And I guess my follow-up question is, did you realize that you had such a hardcore fucking fan that would follow you guys for 4 years on this?
No. I mean, it's funny because when you make a movie, it's a lot like dating and kind of being like the first person your first girlfriend, and you're like, oh, everything's gonna go great, and like you imagine like it's gonna do. You're gonna imagine that every person in the world is gonna see your film, and that kind of like drives you. Right. And then it's like 4 years of just kind of getting hit in the knees or whatever, and learning that life's cruel. But like you still get a movie made. You have a child that grows up and didn't kill anybody, so you did okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, sorry, right there. Yeah. No, but I didn't know. Like, I think we released our trailer right away, and releasing the trailer, like we did it before we finished the film, which turned out to be a mistake because we didn't think it'd take so long to even editing it. It took like between shooting and being done with it like 2 years. So it's sort of like just people were like, "Are you done yet? Are you done yet?" So once the trailer was out there, people started noticing us, but no one could see the movie until like 2010. So
you guys
took a little too long.
Like 15 days to film it, some like breakneck pace to get the movie done.
Yeah.
And then I don't think people realize how much time it takes to make it a finished, polished product. So
that's what you're doing it yourself, indie style.
Well, and that's the thing too, because like we spent like all our resources, like we spent money, like we had to go up to, basically went to like a working cattle ranch. And we got to shoot at a cattle ranch for free, but like we had like 15, 20 actors, and then we ended up having a school crew who came up with us. We just got the local college gave us their students, and it was really like every day of being on that ranch was like feeding 30 people. I mean, that was really like where a ton of the money went. And then we tried to put like stuff into Blood and Guts, and we were renting equipment. So every day we shot, we just had to shoot at such a breakneck speed, and then post-production was the opposite. Like we weren't paying anything, so it was just like just every day sitting there and doing it yourself, and you could get as elaborate as you want, which is something you learn later. Is like you can't be too precious. You got to just like hit it hard, or post is gonna take you 2 years.
So actually, you just brought me to a few of my other questions. One, I want to go back on, when did Trauma officially become involved with this? Was that after you were completely done with the movie, that they just picked up the distribution rights to it, or were they involved beforehand? Because I mean, Lloyd Kaufman's in the movie himself, so how did that come to be?
So we had a working relationship with Troma, but so I had done Phil Gunn and I, my writing and directing partner, had done we did a short like in '04 that made it to Troma Dance in Park City, and it's called Kung Fu Kitties, and it was about these kitties who basically it's like a cute kitty movie, but then they fight and it's really graphically violent. And so Phil and I got this idea. We were pitching Troma a film, and we're going to do a movie called Mormon Bachelor Party, which was kind of like all our titles are more or less. So we're going to do Mormon Bachelor Party, and we talked to Lloyd about that, and Troma expressed interest, but like we wrote a script that was way too expensive to produce. So while we were in between drafts, like Phil and I just kind of we'd seen this movie called the short film called Klown Kamp with C's, and it was really I hated the film. It was really like a saccharine, like it's just I really hate manipulative sweet movies, and I hated the film so much I just was bad mouthing it. And I told Phil the only thing that could make me like that movie would be add the massacre to the end of the title, and it was just like boom, we were like we just looked at each other and knew that. And like we had like half the plot down in like 10 minutes, which I don't know if that's good or bad, but it was like Friday the 13th meets like kind of Police Academy and clowns. But so Phil and I switched gears. We wrote that. We approached Troma, but Troma being in business as long as they are, they don't really give out money. I think they used to do it on the front end, but like so many people make movies now, and so little money is recouped that they kind of just like they helped us, but they just like Lloyd came for a cameo, and then he's like, well, we want to see the movie, we would like to distribute. So that helped us actually get the movie off the ground. But then by the end of it, we weren't 100% sure. By the time we had a finished movie, we kind of looked at our options, and really, it's just like I grew up watching like Troma films. The really shitty Troma the animated title coming up. So to this day, it's like whenever I don't watch Clown Camp that frequently, but whenever it comes on, it's kind of this exciting, like this very visceral child feeling of seeing the do 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 do, and then our movie rolls in. So that's so yeah, but it comes on. So yeah, they came out right at the end.
Okay. And you already answered my one question about how you kind of got the idea for this movie, because you just said that you saw another movie and it just kind of led to your brain just exploding this wonderful idea that you went on to make a movie for.
Yeah, I gotta say it's pretty unique. I don't know a lot of people who are into clowns, about clowns. Oddly enough, I don't know if you can see behind us. Apparently, my grandma was. Like I found that in my old. In my parents' basement when I was helping them move, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is that disturbing
That is
clown
so
picture."
amazing.
It's really disgustingly bizarre. But so when we did the review of the movie, I just happened to have it in my trunk because I helped them move, and I was like, "Oh man, this has got to go on the wall now." So because of Klown Kamp Massacre, we have my grandma's disturbing painting still.
That is there now, affirmative picture in our recording area. Actually, okay, here's I guess it's two-part for right now. Hopefully, do you remember what your overall final budget for the movie was? Like what it cost? And if you do, don't answer it right away. Just say yes if you remember. Because if you do, normally on our show, we play the budget game where we try to guess the budget, but we didn't have it at the time. And normally Aaron plays with our other guests, but since this is the first time I get to play, so if you have the budget, we will both try to guess what the budget was, and who gets closer will be our winner. So, Aaron, what would you guess is the budget for Klown Kamp Massacre?
Okay, so free location. So we already figured that out. You got about 30 people. Food was a big issue. Did it in 15 days.
He goes deep with this sometimes, trying to get it right.
I'm going to say $15,000.
Oh, that's close, because I was kind of looking around that ballpark too. But because you just said you also got the free film students that come out and help. Like acting location 15. Oh, that's right around. I was gonna say 10,000, and watch this be completely wrong. But I'm gonna go with 10. You went 15. So who was closer? What was the budget for this movie?
It was $25,000.
Aaron got it this time. 25.
Right.
Which is food is probably about 10 of that, I would think. And then we paid actors, because to get actors on a cattle ranch for like 15 days and not quit, you have to actually pay them. Not well, but you have to pay them. And then we had to pay for nudity, because boobs ain't free.
Okay, yeah, booty ain't free, and man, I just gotta say, the clown orgy scene.
Okay, we can jump to that one. Let's jump to that one right now.
What
Yeah.
the fuck? Oh my god. I mean, that was off the charts. That looked graphic.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking. I mean, I know it was kind of shot in a weird kind of filter, or the way it was panned around, but man, it just looked like mouths and butts and boobs and crotches were everywhere. It was like, it was a pretty quick scene, but I'm thinking, man, are they really getting laid out there? Damn.
Yeah, we want we want to know whose idea was it for the clown orgy, and then as a director, what was it like for you to actually have to shoot the scene and actually watch that being filmed? I mean, that's just such a crazy scene, like nothing we've ever seen in any other movie. So we just had to ask about that one.
You get to see clown orgies.
Yeah.
Hey, can I have a long answer on this. Can you pause for a second? I want to my internet's, the work internet sucks. I'm going to replug into my phone, which will be faster.
Okay.
But I just need to disconnect for half a second and reconnect.
Sure, we can do that.
So I'll be back in just a second.
Okay. All right, so yeah, we were talking about the clown orgy scene and what went into that, and what it was like to shoot it and be on set for directing that scene. Just take it away. We want to know all about this thing.
Okay, so so I can't remember. It seems very like I knew we wanted to have a lot of sex, and I remember coming up with the necrophilia scene, and that being like. I remember that being the giggly scene. Like I kept giggling like a child every time I saw okay. A clown banging a dead clown.
Yeah.
But then the orgy. I think you put Phil and I together in a room talking about a scene, and there's like a 50% chance an orgy scene will like be written into the script.
Okay.
But then we thought, all right, so. Well, the funniest thing I think about that scene is like the main character, who's really nice to that point. It was just like. Just to make him a dick.
Yeah, that's what Aaron specifically said. It's like, hey, I'm all about this Valor girl, but she said no to, well, fuck her. When we go bang these two random girls.
He doesn't waste any time. That man works fast. He is able to produce beer and sluts like that. So I want to hang out with him.
Well, it's funny too because we got that. As soon as we got that actor read that, and I think he kind of read that through line, which was kind of a joke that we just thought that was a funny joke. And he kind of made that character kind of scummy underneath the rest of the movie. And it really, the character's actually a lot more interesting what the actor was doing, making him like subtly scummy.
Yeah. Philbert kind of had a little sleaze line to him, that's for sure.
Yeah. And we had written, half written a sequel that there's more of that. But, so the clown orgy, so, the hard part is, so we had to get 4 girls, I think. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 girls, and we probably had like 8 naked girls in the whole movie. So we needed 4 of them on one day, and it is like catching like monkeys, because it's just to get one naked girl to agree to do it and not pay very much money. It's hard to get one of them, and then getting 4 of them at once is just like insane. But I think we got... I'm trying to remember. So it was my friend's girlfriend. So the nerd, right? The Gerald.
Yeah.
His girlfriend is actually making out with the Buster Pie.
That's awkward.
Yeah, be some awkward conversation.
And then we gave him the heavier girl, which we thought was funny. That seemed comic.
Yeah.
And then our friend, my buddy Matt, ended up. He just did a lot of theater in Santa Fe, and he's like, "You need girls, Dave? Just give me an hour." And like, he really did. He's like, "How much money?" Okay, and he just made a phone call, and like two hot chicks showed up. Well, on that one, it was 1 hot chick, and then the 4th girl was one of the crew members was kind of a swinger, and she brought her swinger couple friends over, right?
Awesome.
No, so it gets weird. So we show up. We're shooting in the trailer. There's this trailer in the middle of the cattle ranch, and so we go into this back room, and it's like this room had been kind of abandoned for like 20 years, so it's dirty, and we have to kind of make it like get the rat droppings out of the way and stuff. We dressed it up. There was not enough room for people in that room. You know, camera crew, a bunch of naked people, and so we run cords, and I'm in the bathroom next door into it. So I'm watching it on a screen, kind of on a delay, trying to just yell things through the wall. You know, go down his pants, just keep jerking it. I'm like, on his face. So I'm sitting there and I'm prepped to do this, right? And suddenly I'm sitting there and a guy shows up behind me. And I'm like, why is there this dude with a mustache behind me? And apparently, so the swinger couple, right? So he wanted his wife to be in there, and then he wanted to be in the room because he thought that was sexy. But we were like, it'd be fine if it were just your wife in there, but there's 3 other girls. We can't let any non-actors / crew in that room. So he almost took the woman away, but like our one of our crew members like talked him into it. He's like, well, why don't you sit in the room with the director and you can kind of you can observe this.
He didn't start massaging his shoulders, did he?
No, totally. Like he's like, she's hot, isn't she? His wife. And I'm like, yes, and I'm like, actually, because I don't want to talk. I'm just having the worst small talk in this room, and I'm trying to direct clown porn, basically.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I have a weird dude standing behind me. But so anyway, we basically had to shoot that scene like maybe 10 minutes quickly. So the camera crew is just like going and he's shooting things. And then I scream something and they'll go to the next area and the next. But the problem is like people are, so Filbert has 2 girls on him,
yes.
One on his crotch, one on his face. And he's just getting basically rubbed on the face because he just like for about 10 minutes. And he's not on camera yet. I can't, if I were in the room, I'd be like, okay, hang on, wait for it. But finally we get there and I'm like, just film it. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, and Filbert finally calls cut because he had just tired of it, like he nearly broke his nose. The clown on his face for 10 minutes, which sounds like it would be fun, but you put heat and lights for that long, and I'm all good meals, good or bad.
Well, you nailed it.
Wow.
You nailed it.
Yeah, like I said, that's something we've never seen before.
It was a great scene.
It was awesome. Let's see what else we have. Let's go with during the skin. Okay, you are talking about. We did watch a little the YouTube stuff you sent us, the making of. Right. We watched that. So again, knowing that everybody was crammed together in this cattle ranch, and you're doing stuff. What were some of the biggest problems that you kind of had to face and overcome during the filming process? What did you have to do? Like,
it was crazy because it's a mixture of like logistics. We got a lot of first-time crew people who were free, and that's a mixed bag. Like some of the people were great, and some people were just terrible. So it's like we had our food lady came right on the first day. She goes and she has this budget, which is not a lot of money, and she decides to spend half of it on the first meal and buy steaks for everybody.
Holy shit!
Then doesn't refrigerate the steaks. And in the morning, someone came. She's like, "You didn't refer." So we had to throw out everything she had brought in. So half of our food budget immediately vanished within like an hour. Sleeping was really bad. Like about a third of the crew decided to sleep in tents outside, and it started fine because we shot in September, but it went into October. And when it started, it was like, "Oh, great! It's like extended, Labor Day weekend." And then got cold like midway through, and slowly like more and more bodies started ending up back in the house. And the last night I slept outside, I was in a tent, and we were in the mountains, and wolves surrounded us, right? And like Gerald's grandfather owns the property, and Dan's just like, oh, they won't do it, they won't attack. But like you're sleeping, and the wolves start howling. And it's like, you just don't trust,
No,
Jesus.
That goes against like every human instinct.
Yeah.
Like, no, get in the house. Get inside.
But then, so everyone's in the house, right? So, like, it looked like Jonestown in there. Like, if you walked in there at like 9 a.m., it was just bodies, like, moving. And, like, there was this weird like glass door, so you move, so a bunch of the air didn't get out, right? So if you open that up, it was just like this wall of stale farts would come out.
That was one of my follow-up questions was gonna be how badly did this place smell by the time it was all
Terrible.
done.
It was amazing. It was crazy. Like because I didn't go home, so we shot for 15 days. I was up there for like 20 maybe, and you're just bearded and you stink. And you kind of go. We had one day where we ended up. I think it's in the documentary. We just stayed for the weekend because we decided it wasn't worth going back for 2 days. Like we could do a little bit of pre-pro and then just. It was a cattle ranch, so we had all the steaks. So we just ate, got drunk, and went crazy one night. And we had like a meat fight and just like people wandering off and like it was just because it was just working. We had a mountain to ourselves. It was just very easy for people to get lost.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that was probably one of the challenges. Just people, not enough money, exhaustion. Because our shooting days were stupid because we had one shooting day that went 19 and a half hours.
Oof.
Good God.
And then we had about a 6-hour turnaround and had to start the next day because we just didn't have to. We couldn't take breaks.
Sure.
And the worst part, the scene we had the thing on was the necrophilia scene.
Okay.
So we were shooting that at like 5 a.m, and I had this idea. You can kind of see the clown has a weird clown dick in there. And what the actor done, he shaved a wig and he glued it to his pubis, and then he painted his penis white and he candy striped it and then attached a clown nose on the tip.
That's commitment.
So yeah. So like it was that night. He's like, "All right, Dave." He's like, "Dave, come in the bathroom. I'm going to show you it." And I remember it was really weird. I was going to the bathroom. My friend whips out his penis, and I have to like stare. I'm like just staring at his penis, like pointing. Like, yeah, maybe a little more here. Yeah, and we were having this conversation about his penis. So that scene was going to end right when like I had this other shot I had abandoned, but I was going to have her butt up in the air, right? And him in like this deep focus, right? And so you kind of know something's wrong as he's talking to her and she's not moving. And then all right, here's her butt and here's him talking, "Hey babe, blah blah blah." And suddenly he was going to drop the thing and you'd first notice his weird weenie kind of. And then he was going to walk up to her and walk up to her and walk up to her. And finally the clown dick was going to be like that. That was an equal opportunity.
Great shot.
That would be, it'd be hilarious.
That is something we talked about, actually, is that scene. The scene where she was, when he came back from trying to find out what the noise was. And
Squirt's death. Squirt's.
After Squirt's died, yeah. He comes back and finishes, sprays his silly string on the wall. Fucking hilarious. He reaches down. He's like, "Oh, baby, you on your period yet?" But the thing that we like so much is that we know it's a low budget film. Your special effects crew, I guess the people who worked on the gore factor and what have you, did a really good job. Because just with that scene, and we were talking about it on the podcast, so like we know it was kind of a low budget film, but what the guys did with that scene looked great. It looked fantastic. I mean, I know it was dark, but still, it worked.
Yeah, I've seen way worse, like fake, people that are supposed to be fake bodies that with no head, but they clearly look fake. But this one, it pulled it off really well in that scene. Look, there was no like real, here's where the real body starts and here's where the prosthetic started. It was really well done.
It was kind of crazy. So the way that shot went down, like I didn't. I was afraid that'd look like shit up until you walked in, and it actually looked great to the naked eye. And then you realize how fucking sick the scene is because you're looking at a realistic headless body, and you're like, "Fuck."
Ass in the air.
But what had happened is, so my production designer, he went so we were in a place with a lot of abandoned stuff, and he found a bed, and he cut a hole in the bed, but we had rats everywhere, so they probably had been nesting in the bed. So we had to put plastic under, and the girl had to stick her head in. And then we built the fake stub over it. But that was like a 2-hour build to build the fake neck, which is an amazing job on our makeup person's thing. But so we're shooting, that's at the end of a 19-and-a-half-hour day, and where there's a bunch of us, there's a naked butt in the air. We're all sweating, and this girl has her head submerged in a bed. And you're just like, just shoot. But so that scene, we didn't get enough coverage. So a year later, I just ended up. We ended up basically kept dressing my apartment as different locations, and like we were like, all right, this is the thing. If we did a close up and just brought a blue panel here, it looks just like that same room. So we got like all the inserts of the butt and the silly string. He used a silly string, but we got the inserts of the thing getting in its face. Because there's a close up there, so we had to sneak a lot of close ups in there to kind of piece together that whole thing. Because like it was just a wide shot that we had to do 3 times and call it a day.
Well, it looked great.
Yeah, that came out looking great. That's for a second. He also had a debate about, speaking of Squirt's death, but Squirts himself during the scene, I guess the breakfast scene where he wants her to look at his breakfast sausage. The debate was Aaron thought that he had his real penis inside the casing of a sausage and that he squirted his man juice on Valerie. And I was thinking, no, it's probably more like seltzer or something. So maybe you can help clear up that debate once for. Was it supposed to be his happy clown juice, or was it seltzer that was coming out of that sausage?
No, it was supposed to be seltzer. It's just sort of like, it's this clown shtick.
Yeah.
That it's constantly the squirting flower, but instead he has a squirting wiener. But then his death is the amazing part where we ended up. I wanted him to jizz himself after he died.
I was so glad when Squirts died. I hated that character so much.
There was no debate on what happened when his death scene. That was definitely the man juice. But
I mean, he was constantly honking, constantly jerking off, and I don't know if it was something wrong with my speakers, but it just seemed so loud. So when he died, I was like, oh, thank God.
I think that character is the closest to me, just chronically.
Let's see what else we have. Oh, speaking of, we're talking about other death scenes and other things that happen. We also had a confusion about this, is the way the ending of the movie unfolds with, the show and the twist ending. Yeah. We had a little discussion about what then really happened to Lenny and the hippie clown at the beginning. Did they die or not die? Because they weren't not featured in the closing of the movie. You never saw the hippie again. And then Lenny, you made there was that weird like in memoriam that came up in the movie.
Oh yeah.
So it was like I was debating like maybe he really died in the making of the show, and that was their way of inserting it. Or so we were trying. What happened to Lenny and the hippie clown?
Yeah, there's some weird. Like some people actually, you have to really kind of unpack the end to get certain things out. It's a little convoluted because it's such a crazy plot to begin with, and what we decided is a reality within that reality. Lenny's alive. He's in there for a second at the end. He's like on the TV. He's like, "I want a pickle," He's like, "I want a pickle," or something along the lines. The hippie girl also alive. The reason the hippie girl's not there is she was one of the girls paid to come out for a day, and we just never saw her again.
Oh.
Okay.
So it was a practical reason why she wasn't there. We just didn't know who she was, really.
All right.
And her voice is completely dubbed by a third actor. But in our reality, the one person who really was injured in the movie is Vinny, whose face is melted off.
Right.
And because he's still, like, there's a cut away to him headless at one point during the credits. And that was because we figured Buster Pye acided him as a retaliation from threatening to sue him. So Buster Pye's the one who switched out the seltzer.
Okay. All right. 'Cause that's another thing. We're like, how do you fake that? Okay, that clears up a lot of our debating that we had going back and forth.
Well, there's a major thing that happened in the plot. Originally, Edwin, the ending is really much based on April Fool's Day with the whole rug being pulled out.
Very similar to that.
But then I kind of remembered a lot of people were pissed off at April Fool's Day, largely because you're not supposed to pull the rug out that hard from people. And by the end of it, by the time we were cutting, I was like, shit, maybe we shouldn't have done this ending. Like, because it was funny, but at the same time, it's like Edwin was a good character, and I was like, maybe we fucked ourselves on a sequel. And so in the reshoots, we added him, or I just added the actor doing his voice in the end, saying he's going to sue his lawyer and da 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 da.
Yeah,
because we don't want to actually erase this character from happening. And then in the sequel is going to take off as basically it's going to be the next season of You've Been Clowned. In the first scene, Bonzo and Lloyd Kaufman get killed immediately. It's like a very scream opening where they were just.
I'm sorry, I just got excited. So does that mean we should be expecting a Klown Kamp Massacre 2?
No, the problem is like Thomas expressed interest, so Phil and I we hauled butt, we broke a story, and I think the sequel was just like a lot more interesting. Like the first one's great, but like the second one really, there was a lot of ideas that I thought were even weirder and more bizarre. And then we got about halfway writing through it, and we just realized Troma wasn't really going to put any money, and they wanted one, but like we were going to be on the hook for it. And we really didn't make money on the first film, so it's like there's a point where, maybe we just can't actually, like, the fact it was a sequel was harder on us because it was such a micro first film, that to do a sequel of that, it's like we would be just better off doing a whole new movie, and not, it's like the economics of it. 'Cause the idea, I loved it. The sequel basically is. So Valerie's alive, but she really is in a mental institution. Yes. And she's in this facility where a doctor, like this weird clown universe where humans and clowns share sort of a thing, which is something we came up with in post-production. We were doing reshoots, and I was like, we shot this TV montage with clown shows. And as we did that, I'm like, this is really interesting, and let's like keep building out the world. So in the Clown sequel, in Klown Kamp 2, there's a doctor who's trying to cure clownism, and what it is, you have an enlarged funny bone and you're born a clown. And so they're creating this drug that makes you less funny, and then you could pretend and wear human makeup and live a fulfilling life. And so Valerie's this test subject. Like, they've been making this pill that killed, like they almost kept getting it right, and then clowns would get crazy and actually go more murderous. And they finally get it right, and they're going to take these clowns they take Valerie and the clowns in the institution to a camp to cure them of the clownism. And Edwin's been visiting Valerie every weekend at the thing, and he proposed to her because she hasn't responded, so it's the perfect girlfriend for him. So he shows up, and Valerie's gone, and of course Edwin finds out that she's been taken to be cured of being a clown, so he flips his shit. So this German clown, Dr. Nothuten, takes them all takes them and is trying to cure them, and one of the orderlies at the camp is Filbert, and Filbert feels a little like guilty for what he did. But as they go there, Edwin shows up, starts killing starts murdering the people who are trying to cure them. But then at the twist, the doctor captures Edwin and removes his funny bone, and Edwin's no longer funny. And it looks like this doctor is actually way worse than Edwin. Like, he becomes sort of like he's evil. So the clowns at the very end of the movie give Edwin, they actually free Edwin and give him the drugs to be crazier. It's sort of like the ending of Jurassic Park, where they're just like, it's better to free the big dinosaur to save the world from a bunch of assholes.
Oh man, that movie! I want to see that. That sounds awesome.
And I had the scene. I had basically an echo of the necrophilia scene, except Edwin, the virgin, was this virgin clown was going to be having sex with these two girls, and Edwin was going to kill one of them. And like, I forget, he was gonna stick something up her, but like she dies, and he's raping the other clown with like he's running out of marionette, giggling, and the nerd clown wants to stop, and he's being forced to fuck that clown.
He loves it. I'm a little shocked.
I'm sorry, that's hilarious. Oh god, I want to see this movie so bad.
Yeah, so I really wanted to make this one. It was going to be exciting, but it's just like it takes so long to make one of these. I don't know if this one will ever get off the ground.
Sure. Well, I know there's a scuttlebutt going around of the sequel of Killer Clowns from Outer Space coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, who knows? Maybe clowns will be the thing. Maybe you'll get some Kickstarter money or something, and it's like someone's like, "Hey, make number 2."
And you have the new It, so It coming out. So now you went from vampires, zombies. Now maybe it's gonna be clowns the next big thing. So maybe you don't get in on that.
I mean, that might feasibly be like some sort of trend. Might be the way for it to suddenly become a hot.
Comeback.
Yeah, exactly. During I guess saying if you've listened to our full episode on the Klown Kamp, was there anything that we actually got wrong during our podcast that you like to clarify, or that we fucked up, or didn't get, or?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Largely the shoot, and we talked about that right away. Just how the length of it being shot in late 06 to it actually being released on DVD and on demand in 2010. I mean, that was a big thing because but we already talked about that. Yeah, it's hard. It's. I'm sure there's little things that no, that's not actually what happened. That was that's in another town and but nothing that really stuck.
All right, so nothing big then. So we pretty good on that. Whose idea was it? Because Aaron, you also had problems with this character too. Whose idea was it for the monkey in pajamas character?
Bananas.
Okay,
bananas.
Bananas in pajamas, just constantly howling.
I think we were just it really is a lot of the clowns and are all based on the movie. When there's horror not happening, it's all based on Police Academy. So Filbert's basically Steve Guttenberg.
That makes
Funny
sense.
Bone is pretty much like the jerk instructor at.
There was a couple different.
The captain, the gray
one of the hair.
captain.
Who gets a hair on his hands too, and he's the angry one who's always busting their balls.
Right.
He was a mixture of that guy and of course the guy from Full Metal Jacket. But then in Police Academy, he has a little sniveling assistant who's always following him around.
Proctor.
So we were like, well, it's Proctor. Yeah. So why don't we just make that guy into a fucking monkey?
Going from that logic, it makes sense. Now I get it. It just, when you first see it on screen, what the hell? What is going on? But in the same way, because this whole movie is so crazy, it fits, but it's still what?
Now,
it's
one
so
thing
weird.
I did like about the monkey though is when he did suddenly channel his monkey kung fu and get into the fight scene. His translation at the bottom was in broken English and Chinese.
That was good.
Which I thought was pretty funny. I was like, okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. We fun fact, I think 6 people played Bananas. Bananas was a person whoever was free that day we didn't have anybody dedicated being the monkey. We had a guy who could do some flips for the fight scene, but other than that, you'll notice Bananas has breasts sometimes. Banana doesn't have breasts sometimes. Bananas will change about a foot at a time.
I'll have to go back and watch that for that, because it makes perfect sense. I mean, I get it.
It's Sam Raimi has a Shemp, right? He calls Sam Raimi whenever they switch one of the the demons are always being whoever was around that day would become the Shemp. Even Edwin actually swaps because we didn't want to bring Edwin out every day for some of the wide shots. So there's a shot where it's a ripoff of Halloween. You see the house. Edwin walks out and it slowly walks to the camera, and then turns off. After he attacked Puff. The fun thing is that is actually the actor who played Puff as Edwin right there. So suddenly, if you look at it, he has such square cheek. He looks a little bit like Bruce Campbell. He has these super square cheeks. So that's Puff playing Edwin in that scene. But also, remember there was a Mexican gardener in one scene where he's they framed the gardener.
Yes.
So that gardener is actually Vinny, the clown with the red hair and the
chest hair, the fluffy chest hair.
He was around that day, and you're like, you want to play the gardener? got some
I didn't pick
time.
up that one either. That's good. That's
Casting.
great. Now, also, I did notice at the very end of the credits, there was an ad. It said for like a special ringtone or something. Go to clownkampmassacre.com. Okay.
Did you buy some?
What was the ringtone, and is it still available? Because I'm very curious.
Well, all right. That's a contractual thing we ended up in. We had one of the performers, who's a really gifted musician. The guy who played Buster Pye, is a great musician, and he one day just got a hair up his ass and created the Clown Camp theme song. I'm going to a clown camp, camp. But then he wanted stuff for it, and we're like, well, we don't have any money. What are you going to do with this song, if you don't give it to us? So the agreement was, he's like, all right, well, I get all the ringtone money, and you have to write it in the credits. So that's some hardcore negotiations right there.
That is.
Did you ever find out that he ever make any money off?
No, I don't. I think we had it available for like 2 months, but by the time it took 4 years to come out, so I don't think everyone kind of forgot.
Yeah, because I know that I watched the credits all the way through to make sure I didn't miss anything, and I saw like, oh, I'm kind of curious about this.
Pretty funny.
That is hilarious. Let's see. I'm so curious. I had some other questions here for you. Okay. Oh god, I love this one so much. So the whole I want to say gimmick within the movie with Death Curse. Loved it, especially like at the end of the credits where you're doing the ad for Death Curse, the reality show. I just gotta say I loved that whole bit. It made me laugh, and I'm begging you to somehow figure out a way to maybe make Death Curse the movie based on Death Curse the TV show, or better yet, make it a full scale reality TV show. Like pitch it to a network, and because I would watch that. That was hilarious.
Well, the best part was if you were going to, and I mean we've come 10 years on reality series since then, but it was funny to think that you would actually want to, you would purposely cause Jason Voorhees to come for.
I know. I love to see you show it where you see them hook him up to a generator, bring him back to life, and then a crew guy runs out and hands him an axe and just kind of runs away. And I'm like, that's hilarious. I loved it.
But the great thing too is that Crazy Ernie ends up being winning the contest at the end of the thing. So Crazy Ernie, the guy's been warning them the whole time.
Hobo, okay.
Somehow didn't die when he got hit by the car.
Okay, he didn't die.
I love that. I think I even said it in the podcast. We've seen so many shitty movies so many times. It's don't go there, don't go to that house, don't go. It happens so often. It's so cliche and so bad. And then when I saw it, I'm like, God damn it. But then, you can go there. That's fine. I was like, yes.
But it's that was a hard thing because when we were writing it, we were dying of laughter. The idea that you kind of follow him on his own adventure that just is completely divorced from the plot.
Yeah.
And then in post, I was like, oh, should we? It's a year later, and you're trying to get the movie. You don't want the movie to be slow, so you're like, do we get rid of that? I don't know.
It worked.
But we only lost one. There's one thing we cut out because it was just we shot it so badly. But there was a point where before he gets mauled by a bear, he was supposed to
I was about
get
to count on that one. I love the bear.
Yeah, he was going to go and he was going to warn. The first time we see him, he screams around a bush and he's like, "There's a death curse!" And you turn around and it's a family and their kid, and they're like, "We're not going there. We're just having ice cream." He's like, "Oh, enjoy!" And he leaves and he goes up and he orders some. He just really neurotically orders Rocky Road. Got any Rocky Road? So it was funny in theory, but that one was maybe the one that was,
I'm glad you left the bear mauling because that was so random and weird. But I was like, what? But I did like the fact that this little guy kept coming and going throughout the movie, just this constant kind of linking things together. But that kind of brings me to another question. Now that it's all said and done, was there anything looking back on it that you would want to change about it or add to it? Something that you...
Yeah, a ton. I mean, it's sort of I've sat there and kind of, had to smell my doo-doo for 10 years. And there's a lot of things. There's a good thing about finishing a movie because the problem with screenplays is you can keep dicking with the screenplay forever, and you keep almost rewriting the same thing. You should just move on. So it's kind of nice that we made this and it just got made because I think I would radically change a lot of things, but that's just because I'm changing as, as a filmmaker. But I wouldn't have. I would have probably killed the reality show at the ending. I probably just would have had a fight with Edwin because I think he's just a cool character. And we had actually the hard part, which was giving him a reason to be angry and a thing. And it's sort of like we just were being. I just feel too clever. Like we actually had a villain. We should have just played it out. I feel. We cut maybe a quarter of the screenplay out of the So about a quarter of what we shot in the first act, we cut. We never made the edit. Like we had it in the we had a very long first cut, and that is a real problem because we could have used that's probably 3.5 solid days of wasted time that I could have had in real scenes, and you could have seen it. So it's sort of like maybe we should have gotten that. I think with experience, I've been like these scenes aren't that important,
Sure.
You don't need to introduce. You don't need to have them be dorm roommates for a scene. It's sort of like that doesn't go anywhere. So yeah, picking the right scenes. Trying to think. A lot of it's just like, it's like I like a lot of the kill. I think we had to do a lot of reshoots. Like what you don't know, every killing basically is half reshoots. So the opening of the movie, right? You know how there's 3 guys that get killed at the thing, and then you follow Edwin, which is like we kind of have like, what if Michael Myers wouldn't shut the fuck up,
Oh my god! Now you say it, you're totally right.
Yeah.
And he even wears a clown mask in the original Halloween movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's doing that, but he's like, "Hey, I'm a chatter,"
No, we actually. I really thought that opening scene was great. There were some great moments of writing, and in the way the actors, the choice they made to deliver those lines. And one was that beginning scene where he's going around showing everybody the what he's done. And he's like, "Hey, mom, look at me!" And like, "Oh, you'll see." And like,
You'll probably see it on the news.
Yeah, it's like, "I see. I made my bed every day, like you told me to." I was like, it was innocent, but in that setting, it made it so creepy, and I liked it a lot.
So I think the reason, the first scene where they get for just a minute, they get attacked, and then you cut to that. That scene is shot. Everything. The first moment was shot principal photography, and then a year later, that's all we had, and then we went to the modern day, and I was like, our beginning fucking sucks. Like we're gonna lose everybody 5 minutes in because it's just like that's not a beginning to a movie. So I sat there and I just kind of sat on it and I was like, okay, we need to get some kills. We need to have a good gore death. But we don't have a lot of money, so we just we went to my buddy's house in Albuquerque, and I came up with let's just do Michael Myers. Let's do this long thing, and we already had the camcorder set up, so it's like, all right, he'd be talking to his mom. But by that point, I knew the actor a lot, and we had seen him and kind of had a feel for that character. So I think what's good about that is kind of we knew the character by then. That's why I think any sequels would work real well because we kind of know what the motor is. Yeah, and that's the hard part, kind of just getting something that you're trying to. I think every series, you ever watch part 1 of longer series and they never quite got it right in the first movie because it's like a year of I just don't know what's good and what's not, and then probably by the second sequel, or the first sequel, you're like, oh, this is what works, and let's not go here or there. Let's just kind of follow the good part, and we can do whatever we want from around that. So yeah, but anyhow, so a lot of our mistakes that we would have did, we actually did redo about a year later, just on the cheap.
That beginning scene, that was my favorite kill.
Yeah.
I liked the, Edwin killing his roommate, who's totally into Apple Jackson Slayer, and cuts off his head, or scalps him so hard, pulls out his brain, slaps in the face. That's my favorite kill. Marshall liked the pie.
Mine was Funny Bone. I like the pie in the face and then the knife through it. I was like, yep, I've never seen that before.
Did you have a favorite kill?
Yeah, what was your favorite kill of the movie?
Favorite kill? Oh, shit. If I were, let me go through the movie in my head. Maybe Oh no, I like Lenny dying because it's just Bugs Bunny. It's the Bugs Bunny death.
Yeah.
Exactly what we said.
Yeah, we did.
It's kind of a funny. It always gets a good laugh because it's sort of like it's a pretty good scene. We found this creepy area of the woods. He runs to this creepy area of the woods. He's very clearly in the middle of nowhere, and then suddenly, that's the fun of editing. You're just like, he's by himself, and suddenly there's a plate and a pie, and dynamite going right up to the pie. And then so we were in post production. I was sitting there and we were putting the music, and I'm like, oh, poor Lenny, I miss that guy. And then I was like, I think I just saw the Oscars, and I was like, fuck it, I'm putting it in. I've never seen it in memoriam in the fucking. It just seemed like this movie was so, pardon the pun, but clown pants.
Yeah.
That you could get away with just like doing weird shit.
Yeah, and actually, I did this in the podcast too. But the first time I started watching through it, I was like, "Oh God, this movie's awful." But then I watched it a second time, and then it clicked on me. Like, what I got, what you were going for, and like it became. The more I got into it and the gimmick and what you're doing, I really started to embrace the whole concept of the movie and just the wacky things you did, like with Lane, like the pie and then the in memoriam, like it fit because I got the world we're living in, I got it, and I just think, like I said, there was some sheer moments of genius throughout that movie that I just absolutely found myself really enjoying the whole thing as a whole once it was said and done. So.
Well, and see, I think what I think works, and there's a lot of flaws in the film for sure, but we made kind of a parody, but like the legitimate thing is like I love slasher films. Like I just grew up on like particularly the slide, like everything from probably the mid '70s up until like probably up till Scream, and then it kind of that's my knowledge ends right there.
Okay.
And so when we made these scenes, I think a lot of the scenes work alike. They kind of work as horror movie, and then you can kind of do something goofy, but like it's kind of centered. Like, I find like this necrophilia scene, as stupid as it is, and but it is creepy. You're in that house, and that scene, and it's dark, and they're in trouble, and it's and you get a gruesome death, and that's really kind of horrific. But then seeing a clown spray funny string, and with clown pubis, it's sort of
there was another scene at near the end of the movie that I really enjoyed. Again, the writing of it and there's the timing and the way Puff and Filbert interacted. It was when they find Bonzo hanging in the bathroom or something like that.
Oh yeah,
and just like. We need to give him help. No, his brain's got. He'll be fine with his. If we give him proper medical care. Like, no, his brain's missing. And then they're like, I gotta pee. All right, let me move the body out of the way. Let me know I gotta go too. It was like that whole scene, the way it was written and delivered. I thought it was just genius. I loved it. It was great.
That's a good. Like me and Phil wrote up through. That's pretty line accurate through the. Maybe he can live a fulfilling life. Yeah, I don't know. Blah 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 blah. And then they're like, dude, we're getting out of here. And that's exactly where the scene ended on the script. And the actors just like suddenly it became the pee thing, By the second take, suddenly the one was talking about pee, and then by the third take, everyone's in line for the bathroom.
Yeah, with the body just dangling right there. It was great. So kudos.
Glad left it in.
I love that choice. But let's go back. You just touched on the fact that, you grew up with slasher movies just like we did, and you loved them. One question we always ask everybody, it's a two-part again. What was your favorite slasher of all time? Favorite horror movie of all time? And then what's your favorite bad movie or bad horror movie? So your best of the best and your best of the worst.
Yeah, it's kind of... I mean, that's a hard one because, like, you like, so what's your favorite food? But I could spit some of my favorite ones out at you.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be an exact one. Like, just a
favorites, yeah.
I love Reanimator.
We did that.
Reanimator's amazing. Actually, not a horror movie, but one of my favorite old times is RoboCop, which has this weird thing between going violent and funny. Slashers. I love Fright Night. Fright Night's amazing. I'm trying to think because I love Scream. Like I was in high school when Scream came out, and that was just such a that's a movie I've seen probably 24 times. I used to really love Friday the 13th Part 4. I don't know if I haven't watched it since we wrote Clown Camp, so I don't know if it holds up. But I love Part 4. I love Jason Space, Jason X.
Oh,
Nightmare on Elm Street was I was a huge Wes Craven fan. Last House on the Left, even though it's kind of rough, I also think it's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
So you have one that's so bad that it's
Oh,
good.
bad.
Yeah, favorite bad one.
Oh, Wild Zero. You ever see Wild Zero?
No, I don't know that one.
Oh my God. It's purposely bad, but it's amazing. It's a Japanese movie. It came out like in 2000, I think 2000, and basically, like a Japanese version of the Ramones is playing a show, and their biggest fan is at the show, and they almost get killed, and the band saves them, and then they're like, "Ace, you're number one." It's mostly in Japanese, but occasionally they yell, "Ace, you're number one," and Ace is number one, and then they vanish, and the kid goes on a road trip, and the zombie apocalypse has happened, right? And so the zombies come, and he's trying to save a girl. He meets a girl that he likes, but turns out it's a transgendered girl, and he's freaked out. And out of nowhere, like the lead singer, Guitar Wolf, shows up. He's like, "Ace, love has no boundaries, no genders, rock and roll," and he just vanishes. and every time he's kind of a pussy, just Guitar Wolf will appear to him and yell at him advice. But finally, so the zombies are coming, and the kids bravely try to save everyone, but it's just not enough. And the band shows up, and they go and they start throwing guitar picks and like blowing up the zombie heads. And Guitar Wolf then with his guitar, the zombies are being brought to life by an alien mothership. So he goes and he jumps on top of a record store, and the mothership comes at him, and he has his guitar, and he pulls his guitar's actually a katana blade. And he's like, "Rock and roll!" And he lifts the blade up and cuts the mothership in half. Thus being all the zombies.
Oh, that's amazing.
That sounds pretty awesome.
It's called Wild Zero?
Yeah, Wild Zero.
I'm going to have to look that up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Do we have much else? I think
unless you have something else, man. This has been a blast.
Yeah.
So I do want to say thank you
we've been
so
talking
much.
to you a long time.
We're just going on longer than we thought it would, but it's been an absolute blast. Thank you so much for sitting down and taking this time.
Is there anything you want to plug or talk about that you're working on, or anything coming down the pipe?
So we actually are working on stuff. The problem is that we're in screenplay form, and like the one thing I don't want to give away, like like you write a script, it might take 3 years to get it made, and you just gave away your golden goose. But I will say this. We're writing a slasher film that is different, and it's completely different in a way it's not like Clown Camp at all, but it's kind of like the same. Like once you see that, you're like, "Oh, that's hilarious," and it's weird, and I didn't think of that. I mean, I don't think you've thought of that, but I think it's it's kind of turning it on its ear again, and yes, it's great. So awesome. We're working on that, and then maybe some. There's a couple of comedy ideas too that are maybe not. Like I think you can't take I think trauma. We're not. I don't want to make movies that low-fi. Because I like I work hard in making movies good, but I like the spirit of trauma,
right.
And it's just sort of like that. Just like loud and not necessarily loud. But,
loud, fun,
messy, yeah, but with a little more a little more gloss,
Gotcha.
So,
well, then for people who want to, keep track of what you're working on, what's right, want to plug in like your Twitter, anywhere they can find you, keep active.
Just go on my Twitter. That's a good idea.
Well, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, any of that stuff.
Yeah, probably my Instagram is just penis pictures, but my I like to say hi. But my Twitter is a good place too. Twitter.com/David C. Valdez. C is in Charlie Valdez.
All right.
I did a short that I think you guys might be amused by. So there's this thing called the Channel 101 Festival in LA. And like you basically make a 5-minute TV pilot, and if you show it to an audience, and they vote the top 5 ones back in, so you make one a month until you until you get canceled. Well, I only made it a pilot, got canceled right away, but it was about it was called Shame Ghost, and it's about a vato, so like a cholo,
Right.
and a ghost who work undercover for the Vatican, shaming people into repenting. And in the first one, Shame Ghost finds this kid who's whacking off a lot, and Shame Ghost like takes over his magazine, and like and this ghost comes and the kid has to masturbate before the chime of midnight, or he thinks the ghost will never leave him. So
Oh my god! Yeah, I noticed. I look like Shame Goes and the Kung Fu Kitty thing.
Yeah.
We check out your of course the IMDb, all that. Is there a place where people can actually find those? Are they available to watch anywhere?
yeah, I'm trying to think. I have my Vimeo. Maybe I can give you guys a link, because I do have scattered links. I just don't. I should have something centralized. I had a Tumblr for a bit, and then I just got lazy updating it. But and we used to have a website, and I just haven't been to having to author a website seems so. Like personally, I always just send my people to my Facebook, but I will send you links if you guys will post them.
Yeah,
and I'll send you.
Send us links. Whether use our Twitter or Instagram or something. And
there's also I don't know if you guys watched. There's a short film, the mini. We did like a sequel short to Klown Kamp Massacre called Bloody Birthday.
Yes, I should have asked about that earlier. It's same. It's Edwin, same character.
Yeah.
But is it actually like a direct sequel, or is it just the same character?
It's just a character. He's living in his. So we went. This is a tangent, but we played in a festival in Baton Rouge, and we were out in Baton Rouge for a week, and we had Jared dressed as Edwin, just promoting. But Jared gets so into character that he was really Edwin, and he was freaking people out, and he was so good. Like he was going around LSU. And he was just like, he was fucking with frat boys. And you'd think that was a bad idea, but like those guys Jared's not crazy, but Edwin is crazy. Mm-hmm. And those guys would not mess with him. At one point, the frat boys, they had this chicken, like the mascot chicken, right? And the chicken was walking around campus just being like this ballsy chicken. And Jared, as Edwin comes up, and he's like, "What's your?" And he starts sticking his face inside the chicken. And he's like personally taking offense to a chicken. And the frat boys are sitting there, and the chicken doesn't know what to do. And he's like, "Oh, you think you're funny?" So by the time I wrapped this, I was like, "Shit, we need to make more Edwin." So we made Bloody Birthday, and the idea of Bloody Birthday was like we might do a couple like shorts of Edwin just little Edwin shorts, kind of like Pixar does with like Toy Story.
Yeah.
Oh, that weird Ice Age rodent thing.
Yeah, but like the characters have kind of wandered off, and my idea was really simple. It was going to be Edwin at a birthday party, making people uncomfortable, and I think we started. We got in our head to give it more structure, and we wrote a much more of like an arc to it. And honestly, it's fun, but I think we overwrote it. I think like you'll watch it, and it has some really cool moments in it, but it wasn't like I didn't bottle what I had seen Jared doing when we were wandering around LSU, and he was just being creepy. And that, like, maybe down the road, if Jared wants to, maybe we'll just have him do that again, because it was fun watching him. I mean, it would almost be you wouldn't have to write things; you could just literally just tape him fucking.
Yeah, it's improv artist, whatever.
Yeah, it's really great.
Yeah, I'd love to watch the Edwin Bloody Birthday. So like, yeah, if you have links to anything, send them to us, and we'll post them on our website, and we'll make them available every way we can.
That'd be great.
So that'd be great.
Yeah.
Again, I guess like I said, thank you so much for taking time. This has been absolutely wonderful.
David, thank you so
we
much.
love the movie, and we look forward to seeing what else you guys do in the future. So thank you very much. And I don't know, anything else you want? Any closing words for you?
No, man.
All right. All right.
Cool, well, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Okay.